Hey everybody, Pete A. Turner, executive producer and host of the Break It Down Show. Hey, I've got a fantastic episode for you today, a really motivating self-entrepreneur, the CEO of LightSpeedVT, Brad Lea, who also has a podcast called Dropping Bombs. I love what Brad does. First off, he does like this remote virtual training system that reminds your client, hey, don't forget, you got to work on this training. Hey, don't forget to repeat this segment so you can really master it. And he's got not only a great attitude about life and about how he approaches problems, but he's just a motivating guy. By the way, debuting as a co-host and producer is Gary Dobbs, a guy that I've met along the way. And this is one of the things that's great about the podcast is that we all get to encounter these new people. And Gary is a consultant. He works on helping to optimize people's businesses. And he's like, hey, I want to get Brad on the show because I know you're going to love him. And he was right. So welcome to the Break It Down Show as a host and producer, Gary Dobbs. More coming from Gary in the very near future. But today we're talking about Brad Lea. Hey, listen, this is funny, but the show is doing great. You guys are doing awesome. Please continue to share the show. We're out getting some great content. Oh my God, we've got so many good things coming up. The next couple of days, we're going to have some Iran versus U.S. commentary from actual smart people who work in this kind of environment. So we're going to have that coming up. And the more you share these things, the more other people can discover it. That to me is one of the most valuable things. Say, hey, look, here's a show that Pete did. You know, he actually knows what he's talking about in terms of Iran, Iraq, that kind of thing. Or, hey, here's a show that Pete did with this musician that you love. The more you can share the show, the more it helps us do all of these things that we're trying to do and tell these great stories. The last thing I'm going to say today, and you know the deal, here it comes. You ready? Save the Brave, savethebrave.org. Go to the donate tab. Give us a one-time donation. Do a monthly donation. We really would appreciate it. We'll put that money to good work. Let's go ahead and get this work in. Here comes Brad Lea.
Lions Rock Productions.
This is Jay Moore.
This is Greg Proops.
This is Jordan Harbinger.
This is Dexter from The Offspring.
This is Nathan
This is
East.
Sebastian Younger.
This is Rick Marotta.
This is Stuart Copeland.
This is Mick Gillette.
This is Andy Summers.
Hey, this is Skunk Baxter.
This is Gabby Reese.
This is Rob Bell.
Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero.
Hey, and this is Pete A. Turner.
This is Brad Lea, and you're listening to the Break It Down Show.
And now, the Break It Down Show with John Leon Guerrero and Pete A. Turner.
Brad Lea, yes. I had my friend Gary Dobbs on the show with me. He's going to co-host today, and he said we have to have Brad on because Brad is closing deals and has a fantastic podcast. Hey, Brad, I listened to your podcast, Dropping Bombs. I love it. I love the bomb sound effect. And you've actually had a couple of guys on that have been on shows that I've produced for other people. So we just barely crossed circles in our Venn diagram, but now today we have come full Venn and crossed over quite a bit. And man, thank you for coming on the show. Gary, tell us why Brad is here.
Well, for starters, Brad's the real deal, and I like real people. I like growth-minded people, and Brad's like one of those guys. And I'm just one of those guys that work pretty hard. I work 7 days a week. I look up to guys that have built their business pretty hard, and I've noticed Brad quite a bit with things that he's done. And where I first got to know Brad was actually through Grant Cardone Network. I see Brad show up quite a bit with Grant Cardone stuff, and just kind of been following him a bit there. And you know, when I also reach out to people, just really admire and respect the guy. Respect you a lot, Brad, for what you're doing, man. I think it's awesome.
Thanks, guys. Damn.
Let me fire off a question at you here. And for podcast reasons, we'll get into the business stuff in a second here. You've had a lot of great guests on, probably most notably Frank Caliendo from what I saw, but all kinds of notable business folks. You already have so much going on. Why a podcast? That takes so much time. And your stuff is so slick. It sounds good. Your studio is cool. Your website is awesome. Dude, I know because I do this stuff. That's a lot of work. Why in the hell are you doing it? Hey, this is Pete A. Turner from the Break It Down Show, checking in real quick to ask you this. John, Scott, and I all support Save the Brave with our time, our location, our effort, and our money. Each month we give a small amount. Do the same with us. Go to savethebrave.org. Click on the donate tab, pick an amount that you want to come out each month, and they will handle all the rest. I stand behind these folks. Thank you so much. Let's get back to the show. You already have so much going on. Why a podcast? That takes so much time, and your stuff is so slick. It sounds good. Your studio is cool. Your website is awesome. Dude, I know, because I do this stuff. That's a lot of work. Why in the hell are you doing it?
Well, I appreciate that. And I got to say, it's not much work for me. So at the end of the day, why am I doing it? My whole entire mission in life is to get the knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it so we can live in a more successful world. I mean, I think the reason why we have businesses closing and people dropping out of school and teenagers getting pregnant and all kinds of shit happening is mainly because a lot of people don't have the information necessary to do the right thing and or know to do the right thing. So the whole reason I did it is because I had so many experts coming in and out of my office for the Lightspeed training system that I thought I am wasting an unbelievable opportunity to have 2 microphones, set that person down and just have a conversation. We just shoot the shit. We talk about challenges, situations, things that occur in their life or mine or other people's and figure out or discuss what we did to get past it. And it blew up. So I figured, shit, why keep doing it? But I don't really do it. It's not really hard work, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, there's a lot of enriching value in talking to folks like that you're constantly having your mind blown. I know for me, I'm always looking for uncomfortable situations where it's not my wheelhouse, and I'm trying to see if I can lock gears with that person and get somewhere new.
Yeah. Well, it's fun to do, man. And I appreciate getting the opportunity to be on yours as well, only because if I'm supposedly interested in getting the knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it, sometimes I realize that over the last 50 years, I've learned a lot of shit. And so I better do my part and give it. So what knowledge you guys looking for? What am I on for?
Yeah. Brad, like with what you're doing with the podcast, so that makes sense. I'm kind of curious of because entrepreneur has been a big buzzword.
Yep.
Right? But I could tell like on yours, you try to come with the approach that you're trying to really cut through all the bull crap out there and almost hit people real hard, because there was something you said recently where you were talking to these guys and you were saying like, dude, I see you guys at my speaking thing every single time. And you're like, but I say the same thing every single time. So what the hell are you guys doing here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that stuff I like, because people forget to do the work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you got it almost right. I didn't say I say the same shit. I said the people there say the same shit. I never say the same shit twice.
Okay.
However, you are correct. And if you come to listen to an event that I've been to, I never have a speech. I just go out and talk. So it's never the same. But when you go to those events, mainly the people that come are going to the other ones too. You can go around the circuit and you start to see, oh, these guys are all speaking it all over. Like some people finish speaking at an event, they get on a plane and go to another one and another one and another one and another one. And that's what they do. And I'm like, after a while, I didn't realize that, because like I own an actual business, dude. I have employees and 30,000 square feet offices and, everything. Like it's a real business, and I don't have time to be running around going to events all the time. Uh-huh. But when I do go to them, I notice I'm like, there's the same people sitting there. And I'm like, dude, when are you going to actually go apply this stuff? How much can you learn without implementing before it's worthless? The first thing.
Yeah.
I almost think they're doing it backwards. Like they should be going out and messing up, then learning, but they're doing it the wrong way.
Well, I disagree with that only because, listen, I did it the hard way, and you don't need to go screw up to learn. You need to talk to someone who's already done it and then listen, learn, actually learn, because most people aren't learning at those events. They're being exposed. See, dude, if one thing I've become over the years, it's 100% a training expert. Like I am a training expert. I can show businesses and people how to train people better, to get them to learn more and develop their skills. I make people better. So, and how I discovered that over the years, it breaks down to 4 things. Okay. Good content, repetition, practice, and accountability. Those events, they don't have that, which means it's not training. You're not going to an event to train. You're going to an event to hear, learn, be exposed to people and information. And if you go to those events often, you'll start to hear the same shit over and over.
That's true. Discipline, those principles that you're talking about to become trained at something, there does come a point, and in the podcast world, at least for me, when I'm advising podcast clients, I'm always encouraging them to twist their knob towards production over perfection. And you can back it off, and it doesn't mean you have to always just stay production focused, but if you focus on perfection, you just never get product out frequently enough to make a difference. So how do you strike that balance between that action? You know, you can go out and say, I'm disciplined and go do disciplined things all day, but not get anywhere as well, you know?
Yeah. And if you ever follow me much at all, you'll hear me say, it's hard for me to give information and advice only because I need information to give quality advice. I think people need to be more responsible with barking out advice, you know, because in a lot of cases they're barking out advice when they have no idea of the personal situation the individual's in. Like people call me, hey, should I quit my job? Well, I don't know, dude. Do you have 5 kids that can barely eat? Well, then the answer would be no. You know, but if you are a single dude living in your mom's basement for free, and you know, there's times where I'd say absolutely quit that bullshit dead end job and start your own business. Here's how you do it. It's really simple. First of all, you heard of LegalZoom? Get yourself a freaking LLC. Okay, that costs about $1,000. Oh, you don't have $1,000 to do it right? Okay, let me teach you how to go get side work to earn $1,000, or keep your job for another month and save up $1,000. But dude, starting a business and building a business is easy if you know how. I could literally start a business and make it to $1 million income per year on accident. Now, do you know why? One reason.
Because you've done it already.
Well, that, and because now that I've built a brand, like again, I can get on social media and say, hey, I'm going to put a course on for $500, and you know, 500 to 1,000 people buy it. So it's like, and that's without promoting and pushing and advertising and marketing and stuff like that. So it's like, who has a brand? That's the question. Should you build a brand? Should you build a personal brand? And the answer is absolutely. And is a podcast one of them? Absolutely. So Pete, if you teach people how to, you know, start and develop and grow a podcast, that's a huge thing. That's what I'm talking about. Like, this is my passion, figuring out who needs to hear Pete.
Yeah,
That's right.
Because
everybody.
my answer is everybody. That's right. That's right. Everybody should have a podcast. The question is which ones will be popular?
Yeah.
Well, just start one and then get a hold of Pete. Now, Gary, if we went with your route saying just go learn for yourself, yeah, you might get people like me that accidentally built a successful podcast on accident. But dude, that's not, you know, hope is not a strategy. Like if 20 people went to Pete to build one and 20 people went to me to build one, I tell them how I did it. Pete tells them how to do it. More are going to win with Pete. Why? Because he has a systematized, duplicatable, winning formula. And I've got get 2 microphones and tell people to talk. But guess what, dude? Listen, I had the people I had to choose from: Grant Cardone, Elena Cardone, Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Damon John, Jordan Belfort. The list goes on with some notable people. Frank Caliendo. You know, the list goes on and continue. And what's crazy, Pete, I don't know if you get this right now, but people are calling to be on my podcast. Like,
yeah.
Like we just had, and then Dan Pena hopefully is coming on. But like the people that I want on, I can't get on. Like I want Gary V. I want Jordan Peterson. And I want Joe Rogan.
Those are big gets.
How do you get them, Pete?
Well, I'll tell you what, Joe Rogan has already said, I'm not doing podcasts. He's too busy. That dude's churning out $10 million plus an episode, if not more. So he's
no
busy.
shit.
Yeah. I mean, you look at his per thousand rate and just do the math. He's got major insurance companies and Cheetos, that kind of brands in front of his stuff. So they're paying serious coin to be in front of that. So he doesn't do anything he doesn't want to do, which doesn't mean you can't get him. It just means that very few people will get him.
Well, I've never heard a Cheetos commercial listening to his podcast. Of course, I never listened to the whole thing because it's 3 damn hours.
It's going to be up front, and he doesn't have to have ads in the middle of it. He makes all his money in different ways, product placement, that kind of thing. But you can get Jordan, you can get these guys, they are speaking. You know, the thing in our world is that, you know, you have a lot of influence. Your social media presence is way bigger than mine. You turn that on and people will pay attention. How does someone get to that level? Like you can say, well, you just start a new company and all of a sudden you're making $1 million. But we know that especially in this day and age, podcasts aside, whatever your company is going to be, you're competing against millions of other people that are trying to all vie for attention. How does one Is it, look, I know I've read your stuff. I know you've built your business over a long time. You're not an overnight sensation. So you slowly stack people in your corner, but is that the process? Do you slowly build person by person, month by month, until you do have a marketable audience that you can say new product, new shirts, new, book?
No.
How do you do it?
Well, if you're smart, you do it quickly and precisely and, repeatedly. But to answer the question, depending on, again, who you are, what you're trying to break into, what are you trying to do, but it's always going to boil back down to marketing and social media. So how do you build a brand on social media? Well, number one, you start. Most people won't even start doing it. You know why? They're so worried about what people are going to think about them and how they're going to be judged and what might happen that they don't put anything out there at all. And that's just a mistake because, listen, social media is the new television. Do you want your own TV station? Okay, well, if no one's watching a TV station, that TV station goes out of business. So if you jump on social media and you put out bullshit, garbage, lies, boring crap that means nothing to you or it won't mean anything to anybody else, and next thing you know, a year later, you're like, well, I just don't want people knowing my business. No, dude, you're making excuses as to why you couldn't build a brand. You didn't know how. That's the problem. So how do you build a brand? It's real simple. First step, what you need to do is figure out what the brand is. And if the brand's you, which it should be, that means go meet yourself. Okay, most people don't even know who they are. Believe it or not, most people don't like themselves and they don't think they deserve success, which is why they have these plateaus subconsciously in their head. They don't deserve millions. They don't deserve all that shit. And in their head, deep down in the subconscious, it says, "Oh no, dude, I'm gonna present to you choices and options that you'll take that will keep you from the money." Belief systems that you currently have. I'm gonna use those to rationalize why you just need to sit down, chill, and shut the fuck up. By the way, have patience. You've heard that?
Yeah.
Have patience. Bullshit, dude. You shouldn't have patience. Listen, I'm telling you, when it comes to attainment of your desire, patience is not part of the deal. People are misconstruing what patience is. Patience is the ability to have things take challenge, trouble, and delay and not get upset. Why would you not get upset if it took 20 years to get what you wanted?
Yeah, you should be pissed by that point.
No. You should be pissed from day one. The reason why people would tell people like that to have patience because they didn't know what else to tell them. They didn't know how to make millions overnight either. Oh, and then we start to make overnight success. That's got to be a scam, right? Oh, there's no get rich quick schemes. Dude, there is get rich quick. Okay, why would you fucking get rich long? Like, dude, if you're going to get rich as fast as you can get rich. The question is what industry are you in? That will determine how long it takes. You need to build a brand. It takes time. I've been paying somebody to help me with my brand online for close to 2 years, and the budget's been a minimum of $5,000 a month. So $5,000 a month is $60,000 a year for 2 years. That's $120,000 I put into building a brand. So most people won't do that. Why? Well, they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, or they can't afford to. One of the two. And if you can't afford to, well, then how do I do it? Okay, well then now you better be more clever, but you can still do it. And you got to work harder, but you can still do it. Just like you don't even need a brand to market. You know why? I can buy everybody that loves you, Pete. Mm-hmm. I can buy your audience. Do you know that?
I imagine you can. Yeah, you can target people pretty well with social media now.
I'll pick off anybody I want that likes, wants, or watches Pete Turner.
I wish you would.
Period. So guess what? I don't need to be on your podcast to reach your people. That just makes it more impactful. But at the end of the day, if I just want to target your people, I want to go target Grant Cardone's people. I want to go target Gary's people. That's easy to do with Facebook. So at the end of the day, what am I targeting your people for? That's more important, dude. People aren't even prepared for when they get the attention. Everybody just wants to say, go get attention. Well, dude, why don't you prepare before you get the attention so when the attention looks at you, you're not a dumb fuck. And by the way, I apologize for the language if your audience is a less open bunch.
I was going to do this sound because you dropped a bomb.
Well, I will quit. I will quit if you guys don't cuss a lot. But
no, you fucking can do what the fuck you want. This is a podcast, and we keep shit real around here. So
yeah, I just say what I feel. That's all. You know, at the end of the day, I was just having this discussion earlier before this podcast, which is why this is a very interesting conversation. Mm-hmm. I just said, you know, who am I? Who am I? What is my message? What do I believe? Because I need to narrow that down. Right now, if you watch me on social media, Gary, you said you watch. What do you think of? Like, what is your opinion of my brand? What do you think when someone says Brad Lea? What do you think?
With yours, it's hard to tell because I don't know your origin story. So I always look for the origin story, and I always look for like the big why of what you do. That's what I always am trying to find out.
Right. Again, I can tell you real quick, but I can also make it up. Uh-huh. How do you know it's real? What's your why? You know, my why is, you know, when I was 14 years old, I saw a dog in a ditch with a leg broken, and I helped that dog all the way. And then I got home and the owner shot it in the head. And ever since that day, I said, I will never, ever take puppies home to their owners again. So that's when I started Lightspeed VT.
Well, you know what else I found is what helps me to know if the origin story is authentic.
What
is the trail? So what's the trail like? What else has happened since that origin story?
Right. Well, a long time ago, there was a company that ran around teaching people a core story, which is similar to an origin story. Uh-huh. And it's a great marketing tool, and people should have one because, again, your why, there is legitimacy to what's your why, and you should, you know, Simon Sinek's a brilliant dude. So there's human psychology applied to all of this, human behavior, things of this nature that all factor into everything. But what it boils down to is, do people like you? Okay. There's going to be people that like my style, and there's going to be people that hate my style. And we all three could get on 3 different stages and say the exact same shit. And the audience will either like you, or me better at every single turn. You can poll the audience, and there will be certain amount of people that like Brad Lea better, Gary better, or Pete better. And we will all get some votes. Okay, so if that's really the truth, then what's the whole goal? The goal is to get yourself out there, your opinion, your message, your belief, your position out there for everyone to see, and then allow your tribe to form.
Okay.
And that's all you do, because listen, your tribe will form based on the volume of which you're exposed. Now, if someone doesn't like your message, guess what? They're going to go this way. You're not looking for the people that don't like you, are you?
Mm-mm. No.
Okay, so don't worry about who doesn't like you. Worry about who does like you and take care of them. Hang out with them, nurture them, empower them, talk to them. The ones that don't like you, plug your ears, because most people they're too afraid of the people that aren't going to like them to find their tribe. They're so afraid of the hate, they can't find the love. And they're starving for love. That's all they want their whole life. How do I just find love?
Yeah.
And they're so afraid of the hate that they can't find the love. And when they come to me, I say, dude, if you want love, and love is an analogy for success, happiness, relationships, money, I don't care where you are. If you want that, well, then you have to be willing to go through the hate. So when I put a video online, people sometimes will say, dude, who is this clown? Well, I've seen people start, few people talk shit. Guess what? They changed their message. And then they toned it down, so they didn't get that. They didn't want the hate, Gary. Now listen to me, folks. This is if you're driving around in your car, slow her down. This is the deal right here. Okay. Don't worry about what other people think. Okay. Because if you change your message to placate and serve and pander to the individuals that don't like you anyway, well, now you just water down the power to the tribe that would have loved you, but now they don't. So ultimately what you do is you water down your message to where it's not really powerful to either party. And now you're just like the rest of these people, white noise bullshit that ain't really saying anything. And guess what we do to those people? Woo! We just keep scrolling past your dumbasses. Because guess what? You're not willing to stick your fucking dick out there and say, look at it, people. You either like it and you want it or you don't. If you don't, guess what? I'm not looking for you. I'm looking for the people that want it. So I just got to keep showing it. And when everyone's like, blah, 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 you got to just get callous to those people and just realize that even if 1 million people hated you and only one person loved you, you just need to show it to 30 billion people. And then you'll get the 100 people in your tribe. Now, hopefully, your message isn't so offensive that if you showed it to 1 million people, only one person likes you.
Yeah, hopefully you get more than that.
Yeah, but realistically, if you have something to share, if you have a song to sing, if you're trying to monetize knowledge, and if you're not, I'll show you how. Because again, my expertise is in training and developing people to improve. I'm an improvement expert, but training is the core of it. So if you train people incorrectly, it's not going to work very well. If you have knowledge or you have a skill set, like Pete, if you don't have a Lightspeed system right now, you're training on some other system on the market, well, then you don't understand Lightspeed, or you don't care if people learn, one of the two.
So talk to us a little bit about Lightspeed and what it does offer then. I mean, that's a bold claim. Let's have you back it up a bit.
Well, Lightspeed is the world's only actual learning system. See, most of these platforms, they were designed to host videos and let you access them. Our platform was designed to get you to learn. See the difference? Mm-hmm. Theirs is designed to host and access. Mine's designed to learn. So they will give you a software where you can host your video, charge $500 to let people add it. Our technology is if you want people to learn what's in it.
I like it. So you're going beyond the feature and benefits. You're actually giving them that thing they're missing, right?
No, one is a learning technology and one is a hosting technology. Like if you want to host videos behind a paywall, there's a million other things out there. But if you want to teach people your content, you have to have 4 key ingredients that those other systems aren't doing. They're not allowing, and they don't offer. So all they offer is you can host your video behind their little paywall. That's not a learning system, dude. That's a hosting system. You know what they do? They specialize in building up a quick landing page so you can sell it. And then when people buy it, there it is. They can access it. That's called hosting and selling. It's not called training. Training requires 4 key ingredients: good content, repetition, practice, and accountability. If your system doesn't deliver repetition, allow you to practice and track, monitor, and measure everything, it's not training, it's exposing. And as you know, we can get arrested from exposure. You don't want to just expose people to information. You want them to learn the information. Because again, what good is information if you don't understand it? What if I told you both, I'll guarantee you make $10 million if you buy my training, and you'll make it tomorrow. My training's $50,000. Would you guys buy it? Yes or no?
Yeah, I'd find $50,000 for that guarantee.
Okay, now you pay me, and then you log in, and I go.
Yeah.
You guys will be like, "What the fuck is that?" Now, by the way, if you could decipher what I told you, in fact, it is $10 million worth, but you don't understand it. You couldn't get it. It didn't sink in. Mm-hmm. Okay, dude, I just robbed you, whether I did or didn't. See, again, there's the information, pricks. There it is. Go decipher that shit. No. People don't know to go through with repetition. People don't know to do something 15 times. Dude, how many times do you read a book?
I usually go through twice, and then I sip it later on.
Why? Why do you go through it more than once? You already read it fucking once.
Because that's how I retain information.
That's how everybody retains information. Right. It's called repetition. And the fact that you're only going through it twice means you don't know very much about what was in the books. And again, depending on the book, of course. But you go through the book often. That's why nobody goes to a church with a pastor that read the Bible once. Okay? Nobody wants to go to a plastic surgeon that did the surgery once. Maybe you're going in there and you're getting a nose job, and I say, Pete, let me do it. I did one of them once. No, dude, repetition is key. If you look at any top athlete, repetition's core in their belief in their daily training regimen. Why? Because it's training. It's not exposing. They're not exposed to fucking baseball. They're trained how to play baseball. Okay. Athletes, military. Look, nobody watches a video on war and then gets an AK and told to go to war. Okay. They're fucking trained. Training takes repetition. Training takes accountability. Training takes practice. So when you say, hey, I'm going to train you how to build a business, and your training is a fucking video behind a paywall, dude, either you don't know that that's not training or you don't give a fuck. You just want the money. Either way, I got a problem with you. Why? Well, because you should have ethics and integrity. If you're going to get $2,000 from this motherfucker to teach them how to do something, you better be concerned that they actually learn what the fuck you're teaching. Don't you agree?
I do.
Sure.
Yeah, so anyone that's not on Lightspeed either doesn't give a fuck or they don't know. Which one is it? Pete, you say you got a course. You ain't on Lightspeed.
I am not on Lightspeed.
See, it's because you didn't know. It's not because you don't care, because I can tell already you do care. You want people to learn.
Oh,
Problem is nobody's telling them to go through your course 14 times, and nothing's tracking them if they do. Nothing's prompting them. Nothing's encouraging them. It's not interactive. You can't ask questions and adapt the content to the individual. Why would we do that? Well, because why would you force everyone to adapt to your content or your delivery style? Because quite frankly, I could show you how to make it to where I'd log in, answer a few questions, and you wouldn't even be the one that delivered it to me. Why? Well, because my sequence of interaction told the system that it would be best if this girl delivered the same information. Why? Well, because Brad's he learns better from soft females than he does gruff, bearded fellows in luminous lighting.
I know, it's so dark in here.
But you see my point? Like, dude, everybody's different. You can't force people to adapt to the information. You have to adapt the information to the people. You get it? Yeah. And the only way to do that is interactivity. Lightspeed has a built-in ability to create, deliver, and measure interactive content. So if I want to make an assessment tool for my employees, because I'm hiring 1,000 people a month and I want to assess people virtually before I talk to them in real life, I could use the system to be an applicant screening tool where it's like, well, that's not training. No, you can use Lightspeed to do things way beyond training. We have people using it for marketing. We have people using it for assessments. We have people using it for training. We have people selling it. We have people giving it away, which intangibly creates another benefit. Like, again, if you go train all of your customers how to use your product better, do you think your retention will go up? Yes or no?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a good product, right, and that's what you intend, sure, it goes up.
It does go up. The reason why we cancel shit is because it's not working. And the reason why 9 times out of 10 shit doesn't work is because we don't know how to work it. I bought a treadmill once. That fucking thing didn't do shit for 3 years.
It didn't shred anything, huh?
Yeah, and by the way, no salesman came to my house to make sure I was riding it either.
Yeah. No, it's a great point. Like, you sell this high-end solution to somebody, you should have that follow-up to encourage them. Like, there's barriers to get through. Same thing with podcasting. Brad, I mean, all the time, I illustrate the barriers. You know, you start your podcast, don't expect 1 million people to show up on day one. It's going to take some time to build that audience. And if you're starting with like, we're going to have a huge audience because this stuff's so brilliant, you're going to get outworked, outperformed. So you have to accept like a starting point. You don't go to the gym and look huge on day one. You're scrawny. You don't know how to swim on day one. You got to go out and get the work in.
Hey, Pete, want to use that as an example?
Yeah,
If you went to a gym and did one curl,
yeah,
how would that do?
So huge, bro.
Yeah.
I took some creatine.
Listen, even when we're building muscle and developing muscle, okay, it requires repetition. It's all repetition based. But when we look at a company and we look at a company's training program, we realize, hey, this isn't a training program. This is an exposure program. They're exposing people to information, and then they're dumbfounded as to why they're not staying, or why they're not winning, or why they don't learn, or why they're not saying it like we want them to say. Well, it's because you didn't train them, prick. You exposed them. Now, what do? I can show people how to manually train somebody because people do it all the time. I'm not saying you need Lightspeed to do it. No. You need to understand that it takes good content, repetition, practice, and accountability. And once you realize those 4 things are key and you have to do them, well, then the next question is how are you going to do it? You want to do it manually or do you want to do it virtually? Because manually is 50 times more expensive, takes 50 times longer, and it's 50 times less effective. Where if you do it virtually, it's a fraction of the cost, a fraction of the time, and 10 times more effective. Which one you want to use? Obviously, this one, which is we leverage technology. I have a thing in the bottom of my email. I've had it there for years. You know what it says? There'll be 2 kinds of companies in the future. Ones that use technology and ones that make it. So what is it you do? Like you make it or do you use it? Because if you don't use technology, you better make that shit. Yeah. And by the way, I'm someone that makes it. I also use it. I understand the value of technology. You leverage technology. How much would this podcast have cost you guys if this wasn't available?
All of it. I'd have to go out to Vegas, which I will, but that's, let's call that a $500 trip just to do that.
Yeah. So again, you leverage technology. Pete Turner is leveraging technology. Your course, it's on some system where you probably heard about it or you followed a ClickFunnels ad or you did some bullshit that you heard about. You just don't know that you could have done other things. And quite frankly, the other option is sometimes it's easier to do the easy thing. But the problem is, Pete, is I would have also showed you if you were on Lightspeed how to not only train the people better on what you do, but embed interactive upsells and offers for microphones and headsets and these little task cam switchers and blah, 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 blah. And by the way, if you want us to produce your podcast, we'd be happy to talk to you. That's $1,500 a month flat rate. Because guess what? Someone's going to have to do it, prick. And if you don't think you're going to do it, well, then you might as well not even start podcasting because someone's got to pay attention. Do you want to use Libsyn or do you want to use these other ones? Is there a better one or is there not better one? What microphone do you use? Do I need any plugins? Should I order the monster cables that go with it or is the ones that come with it just fine? All this shit, like, dude, I could figure it out or I could just buy Pete's course. The question is what is the course going to do for me? And by the time I'm done, did I collapse time and get something quicker?
Right.
Or did I save money because I didn't make a mistake, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I mean, you're describing it. Although we don't do task cam around here.
Go turn out those lights so we can make Pete feel at home.
I would get up and turn my light on, but I got trapped. So yes, that's exactly what I do. I
like this look.
Just $1,500 in savings just by having the right equipment from the jump. You don't have to buy a bunch of bullshit. You don't have to overbuy. All of that stuff's available. And you're right. Like one of the hardest things is I will give you the capacity through training to do your own show. But inevitably, my best clients are like, I want to do this. I don't want to do the work. I want to do the hosting and the talking. That's really what I need to do. And it's golden. But yeah, if I had a system that was a little more automated, there could be more Pete doing more Pete things instead of, having to always face-to-face everything. It's a great point, man. It's a good, in my world, the world of combats and spies, it's a force multiplier to be able to use and leverage technology and training like that.
Yeah, and not only that, but so our training technology is the only actual training system out there. But more importantly, it allows you to create interactive content. And interactive content is like next level shit. People haven't even started thinking about it yet, but a few people have. Like you can watch Bandersnatch on Netflix and there's interactive movies being made and television shows being made where you can choose whether the hero dies or lives and all this other crap.
Yeah.
But 3 to 5 years from now, interactivity will be normal. Why? Well, because dude, people want it their way quick. Like for example, if I'm selling supplements and I have supplements to get you big muscles or big balls, it's 2 different things. So if I'm making you hunt for something, what if I just popped up and said, you want muscles or balls? And you're like, balls. Okay, good. Here's what you need. Dude, it's so much quicker, so much better, so much more streamlined. So at the end of the day, interactivity allows somebody to come to a video online and the video can now ask questions, adapt, and upsell or equip or sell. So if you're going to drive 1 million people to a video, and all your video can do is play It's almost like you're going, I don't want to hear nothing from my customer. I don't want to give any options and choices. I'm just a dumb fuck running my mouth. Well, dude, if you think about it like that, it's like, oh man, that makes so much sense. We're driving people to a video that just plays. It doesn't ask any questions. It doesn't adjust what it's saying based on your choices and options.
That's cool.
And it doesn't ask you to buy any additional resources that with this new information can help you. It can't equip you with auto ship on products. It can't notify a salesperson or an executive to communicate and talk to you. It can't send an alert to legal or management or customers or customer support in real time. Oh, well then you must have a dead video. I call them dead videos. Lightspeed gives you the ability to make what I just described with video from your damn iPhone. So Lightspeed is a web-based interactive content creation tool that allows you to deliver, track, and measure the information and surround it in real-time tracking and analytics. So dude, what you can do with the Lightspeed platform is amazing. Delivering a training system on how to build a podcast without interactivity, Pete, you're missing the boat. You're losing all kinds of mic sales. You're losing all kinds of affiliate deals to Libsyn. You're losing all kinds of one-on-one coaching where you might catch somebody with your video online where I buy it, but I didn't know you had a fucking Pete one-on-one coaching acceleration program. Shit, I didn't know you were willing to host this shit and take it get it out of my headache zone for $1,000 a month. Or I did, but I did it after you sold me your course, and then you started dripping me some bullshit everyday text-based email nurture crap that I don't pay attention to. Right. You didn't target me on Facebook. You didn't even know that I didn't start your course. You didn't even know that I didn't start your course. You just started dripping me stupid shit, and I haven't even went through your first shit. How smart does that make you? Yeah. See what I'm saying? So if we did it in the Lightspeed system, Lightspeed would know you haven't even started your course. So the nurture campaign is, brother, come in and let me help you. It's not, you want to buy my next thing? You want to buy my next thing? And now all of a sudden you just join the ranks of all the other fucking spammers. You're an intelligent marketer now. Why? Well, because you can log them into the system or sell them a course, realize they haven't logged in. Why? We're tracking shit real time, 24/7. I'll tell you if they didn't start in a day, 2 days, 3 days, 10 days, when do you want to be notified? So now let's say in 3 days they don't fucking log in. Trigger a nurture campaign from Infusionsoft or HubSpot or some other bullshit system. Trigger a nurture campaign that starts to get them in the system. And by the way, Lightspeed can also communicate, so depending on what you have. But my point is, now you're starting to pepper that person with marketing that gets them to take what they bought, which, by the way, Pete, if everyone took the course that you bought, how many more people would be helped? Because I'll bet you sold courses to people ain't even fucking logged in.
My stuff's all face-to-face anyhow. I need to have some automation. So
okay, well then here's your problem with face-to-face, Pete. First of all, your face. No, I'm just joking.
No, that's true. I'm old.
You need Brad's face. You need Brad's face.
Yeah, I'm just joking, Pete. Your face ain't the problem. The problem is your time, first of all. Second of all, you're not probably going over rocket science when it comes to certain shit. So I'm not saying they're not learning, but you're not giving them the repetition. So imagine if you did the face-to-face, your time is valuable, so you increase the cost. You only do it for a few people. Everyone else gets the virtual Pete.
Yeah.
So for example, how much does it cost for your face-to-face training?
There's a a la carte kind of menu, but basically if I'm going to help you start a podcast, it's $2,500. And within that, I teach you how to actually host a show.
Face-to-face?
Face-to-face.
For how long?
6 hours of host training.
Okay, so for $2,500, you value yourself at $400 an hour.
Well, I mean, I'm also helping you build the show and work on Libsyn and all that. There's a bunch of other stuff in there too. It basically $100 an hour when all in with everything.
Okay, so again, $100 an hour, Pete. I think you're worth more than that.
Well, thank you.
I think the virtual Pete, you could get for what you're getting for the real Pete. And then the real Pete could be fishing or helping other people. Because if you just sent out a thing that says anybody that wants to start a podcast for $400, I will spend the next 30 days every day popping up and teaching you everything you need to know to master podcasting. Mm-hmm. More people will buy that than are buying your face-to-face right now.
Yeah, that's probably fair. That's probably fair.
Yeah. So, and then if you thought, well, what would I say? Dude, you're already doing it manually. You're doing it face to face. Yeah. So all we do is virtualize what it is you say and do with those people, embed the interactivity it's not always upselling. I call it equipping. Because if I say to you, hey, you're going to need a pen. Now, do you have a pen? And if you don't have a pen, just click here and I'll drop ship you this pen. Okay. Dude, you're going to need a fucking pen to do this job. Do you have a pen? Yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, good. So get your fucking pen and let's go like this. Now, if you don't have a pen, I'm going to go, stop the lesson.
Yep.
You need one of these motherfuckers. So listen, go down to the store and buy one and log in when you're back. Or you want me just to fucking FedEx you this motherfucker right here. Mm-hmm. And then they go, yeah, I'll take that one. And you go, just sold a pen.
Just sold a pen and some shipping.
Not only that, dude, you showed people you give a fuck. Yeah. Because guess what? Before you were running your mouth, you didn't even care if they had a pen. You didn't even know if they had a pen.
Yeah. And the God's honest truth is if anybody is like me as an entrepreneur, and I know Gary fits into this mold.
Gary who?
Yeah. Gary Dobbs.
Gary Dobbs. Yeah. I thought you were referring to Vaynerchuk. I want to clarify.
Yeah, no.
That's Gary V. I'm Gary D.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got you.
We'll just call him Dobbs. That's what I call him. Dobbs. Me and Dobbs, we care about people. I truly want someone's I know how positive the impact is on the person themselves when they do a podcast, and you know this too, because you've got hundreds of episodes. I've got hundreds of episodes. Just on the impact on it is in your life, I want you to succeed. Plus all of the other benefits that come out of it. But you're right. Multiplying Pete is a big problem for me, for sure.
Not anymore, Pete.
I won.
When you're ready, old Big Daddy right here will teach you how to easily take your knowledge, virtualize it, and sell it to businesses and people. Businesses and people. Because the market you're missing, Pete, is there's a lot of businesses that need to start a podcast, and they got employees that they can assign,
put them to work on
it. That'll help their brand tremendously, and they don't even know that.
Yeah.
You know how big my podcast is to my business? I get deals every single month, big business, from my podcast. I didn't know that when I started it. I started it naively on accident to help people learn. And look at all this knowledge. I'm wasting it if I don't get them on recording.
Yeah, totally.
So I just recorded them. I didn't think, oh my God, this is going to drive a lot of business, but it does. So guess what? If I'm a brand or a business entrepreneur, landscaper, pool company, fucking grocery store, I don't give a shit. Where's your podcast? You should have one. And if you don't have one, you're foolish.
Yeah.
See, I'm helping Pete right now with his business.
Yeah. Well, you're saying the same words I say. You're just multiplying it, and doing it exponentially because that's.
Well, and by the way, go take my closer school, Pete, and you'll be able to do the same thing.
Closer school.
Yeah, he's got a closer school, as you can see.
No, what I do is I teach people, listen, at the end of the day, when I dropped out of school, okay, I was 16 years old. My dad kicked me out of the house for not mowing the lawn. I'm thinking, like any good 16-year-old, why the fuck would I need to go to school? So I dropped out of school, thought I was going to be a movie star, moved to LA, ran away, basically is what they call it. Cause I was only like 16 and a half. I ran away to LA, even though I didn't run away. My dad kicked me out. I quit school and moved to LA, slept on the beach, learned some shit, ended up fucking coming back. But a long story short is, dude, I've learned the hard way how to freaking build and scale a business. And through that whole journey, I'm the one that literally started the online training space.
Wait, hold on. I thought this all started with you returning a dog to its owner and learning a valuable life lesson.
Returning a dog to its owner?
That was your ginned up origin story earlier, remember?
Oh, yeah. About origin story.
No, I don't really have an origin story. I mean, my origin story is my origin story is listen, like, for example, when it comes to hard work, I don't like hard work. Okay. Everyone thinks hard work is required. Dude, hard work is not required. I do not work hard. Okay. I've made 8 figures going on 9 figures here shortly a year, and I don't work hard. So whoever tells you hard work is fucking necessary is full of shit. Okay. It's not necessary. Now, a lot of people will argue that because of how they defined hard work. I don't define hard work doing a podcast. I don't define hard work doing this right now. I don't define hard work going on speaking events and stages. Okay. I define hard work with when I come home with blisters on my hands and like slivers in my fingers and hard ass work. Dude, my dad worked hard his whole life, died broke. I always make a joke about how broke we were. We weren't that broke. We had food. Yeah. Usually we had Christmas presents, but there were times where my dad barely could afford Christmas presents because there was 5 of us. You know, he was just a mill worker, dude. He was a blue collar worker. And so he could barely afford to put clothes on us every year for school. I mean, it was a stretch. Fuck, it was a stretch for me when I was coming up. Like, dude, school clothes, all the shit you need, football cleats. Dude, it's expensive when you got 2 kids. Fuck 5. So my dad worked hard his whole life, dude. Had ethics. The best of the best guy you ever want to meet. Died broke and ashamed. Why? Because he couldn't afford his family what he wanted to afford. You know, he could barely buy us Christmas presents. One year, I got a hole in my pocket so I'd have something to play with.
You got jokes.
No, but I mean, serious. Like, dude, what did I get? He cut a hole in my pant pocket. Yeah. And he said, put your hand in your pocket to get your gift. I poke it in there and I can just play with my dick, basically.
Play some
pool. No, he said, that's what you get. So you have something to play with. And he laughed, but that was his way of saying, I don't have any money to buy you any presents this year. Worked hard. Hard work ain't the answer, kids. The entire military works hard. None of them are rich. And if they are, it wasn't from the military and it wasn't from working hard. Think about it, folks. Hard workers are usually the brokest workers. Yes or no?
That's true.
Okay, so again, I just keep it real, dude. People don't like my message. Look, I'm just reporting the news as I see it, kids. I'm ahead of you, okay? I'm 50 years old, plus I lived the lives of a fucking 100-year-old. Like, dude, I've seen some shit that would blow people's mind. I've been doing business with the top thought leaders for 20 years. I hear a lot of thoughts, okay? I'm the center of thought leadership. Okay, Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Tom Hopkins, John Maxwell, and the list goes on. People you've never even heard of, authors, speakers, coaches. Dude, I hear all their shit. I'm submerged in it for 20 years. I'm telling you guys, I know some shit. So at the end of the day, when someone says, how do I build a brand? I can teach you exactly how to build a brand. How do I close more deals? I can tell you exactly how to close more deals. How do I train my people better? I can tell you exactly how to train your people better. Where am I going with all this? It boils down to what?
We're waiting.
You got to make a decision first, right? Mm-hmm. So Pete, like right now, I know you're convinced, and I'm not using this opportunity to close you, but I know you're convinced Lightspeed's the way to go. So I would expect a call from you in the next 3 to 5 days, but I'm not going to follow up. You know why? Because I don't work hard. I don't work hard, dude.
I hear you.
You don't need to work hard. It's a lie. It's a lie. If people understand some of this shit, they'll stop believing the crap that we've been taught this whole time. We need to unlearn some shit, not learn. We've learned enough, I think. And there's always more to learn. So don't get me wrong. I like learning. I read every day. I learn every day. But I mean, we need to unlearn some shit if we want to break it to the next level. Do you know the number one reason people can't break through a plateau?
Lack of repetition?
No. They don't, deep down subconsciously, they don't like themselves. You know why they don't like themselves? Because they've been lying to themselves for X amount of years. Let's say you're 25 years old and you can't seem to break through. Well, that's because fucking number one, you're 25. You just started working, 7 years ago? Okay, that's not very long, first of all. Second of all, your whole life, you've been programming your head to fail. Your parents have done it to you, school's done it to you, and society's done it to you. They teach you stupid shit like we only have 24 hours, right? Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard that before? How many hours do you have, Pete, in a day?
I mean, there's 24, I guess, but you're going to tell me something else. So tell me what you're telling me.
No, I'm going to tell you that that's bullshit,
Oh,
but
okay.
we've all heard it. Gary, how many hours do you have in a day?
Well, I try to create more. I try to create
right.
more 24
That's
hours.
right. He follows me. You can tell. You're right. You're right. You can create more. Time is not limited like everyone teaches us. It's unlimited. Quit fucking thinking so limited. If I want 100 hours in a day, I need to first of all, I have about 12 to 16. Okay. Why do I only have 12 to 16? Dude, because you got to shit, you got to shower, you got to eat, you got to fucking sleep. Quit acting like we only have 24 hours. You ain't got 24 hours, motherfucker. Your body shuts down. You fucking Superman or something? Right. You got about 12 to fucking 16 at the most, maybe 18 if you're fucking pushing it. Okay, but we all have 18 hours of our own. But why are we limited to our own? How about let me fucking go hire 80 or 100 people that give me 8 hours a day? 100 people at 8 hours, that's 800 hours a day. Now, who taught me time is limited? Who taught me we only have so much time during the day? Why are you teaching me that? Are you expecting me to fail? Do you want me to fail? Or maybe you weren't taught that. You didn't know any better. And that's usually when, like, our parents love us. They're not trying to make us fail. They're trying to do the opposite. Problem is that's when they were taught. And then that's what their parents were taught. And that's what their parents were taught. And when you look at the source, which one of those motherfuckers built the $1 billion business? Oh, none of them. Oh, no shit. Well, then do I want to keep listening to a lineage of people that didn't do shit?
Nope.
No, dude. So let me just change what I'm listening to. Like, again, dude, if you don't like country, turn the fucking dial. There's rock and roll right down the fucking dial. There's hip hop a little bit further down. There's fucking all kinds of music on that station. If you don't like country, dude, change the station. If you don't like what I'm telling you, turn the station. And by the way, a lot of people will. Oh, that Brad Lea fucking sounds like a fucking arrogant prick, thinks he knows everything. Yeah, meanwhile, I'm going on 9 figures. Oh, you value money? Well, it ain't all about money, motherfucker. Oh, it isn't? What's it about? Well, it's about being happy. What do you think money allows you to do, dipshit? Money does allow you to be happy. You want me to teach you how? It gives you choices, options, and freedom. And that's what happiness really boils down to, is the ability to choose anything you want, when you want, who you want, help who you want, be there to help. Like, imagine someone had a terminal illness and $190,000 would save your nephew's life for your brother or your sister. And you got that money, dude. You don't think that buys happiness? You're rationalizing because you don't have $190,000 to save your fucking nephew. So now you want to lean on some old bullshit we were taught, when in reality, that's all bullshit. So times change, so do we as people. Guess what? It's time to make higher level human beings. It's time to make people wake up and be aware. I call it enlightened. If you're enlightened, you realize, holy shit, dude, we are not grateful as people. We are not prepared, and we are not growing at the rate we can grow. So how do we change that? That's the question. And again, I mean, if this podcast was longer, I'd freaking go over each and every step. Right now, here's the one that I would say is most valuable to your audience. I think relationships are the new economy. Okay. I think the most important relationship we can have is the one we have with ourselves.
Hey, this is Pete A. Turner from Lions Rock Productions. We create podcasts around here. And if you, your brand, or your company want to figure out how to do a podcast, just talk to me. I'll give you the advice on the right gear, the best plan, and show you how to take a podcast that makes sense for you, that's sustainable, that's scalable, and fun. Hit me up at pete@breakitdownshow.com. Let me help. I want to hear about it.
I think the most important relationship we can have is the one we have with ourselves. Most people don't love themselves, they don't value themselves, and they don't think they're worth anything. And they're busting their ass with that hard work bullshit, trying to get rich when it's never going to happen. They're trying to find the right relationship. It's never going to happen. Why? Well, because technically, if you want to break it down to simplicity, you don't like yourself and you don't think you're worth it, and you're never going to fucking change your mind until you change your mind. So how do you change your mind? You figure it out by doing 3 things. 1, forgive yourself. 2, commit to always doing what you say you're going to do. 3, set 10 goals a day that you can actually achieve, and start making sure that you do those. And then 10 days later, you'll be in the habit of doing these things that you say, and you're winning, by the way. Your mind doesn't realize the difference between winning and, winning big or winning small. It just knows you're winning. And pretty soon, confidence is the memory of winning. So what happens after about 30, 60, 90 days is you start to feel like you deserve a little more. You won't know why, but you just will. And you will deserve a little more, and you'll start doing a little more because your brain automatically is programmed to design and notice what it is you ask for it and need. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
So that's all you do, man. Did that all make sense, or did I just lose everybody?
No, I mean, you're letting you roll because you were preaching. It was good. What's number 2?
You got your mind, your money, your health, and your honey. Your honey are your relationships, like, my baby, my honey, my girl, my family. It's all in that family life quadrant, right? Your money, your mind, your health, and your relationships. So I touch on each one, but when I start training people and coaching people on relationships, the first one and most important one is the one they have with themselves, because they don't like themselves. So I can also teach you how to find, attract, and nurture relationships to where you can leverage those relationships to get things. And then people are like, well, that's using people. See, again, you fucking need to unlearn that shit.
Yeah.
It's only using people if you're a worthless fuck.
Okay, I got a good question for you, Brad. Okay, so you're talking about people destroy their beliefs, right? And so if they're going to be able to say, no, that person used me, but they're basically limiting themselves from growing. What's something you can tell that person that they could change their mindset, change the way they're looking? Because there's something that they're not recognizing, right? Like what you know and the value that they're missing it. What's something that you think a lot of people overlook?
The simplicity of it all, the common sense. It's like fairly logical, everything I'm saying.
Okay.
Like everybody thinks there's big rocket science behind all this shit. There's no rocket science, dude. People want you to think that, but there isn't. Like, what do you want to know? How do I do what? Like, name something, dude. What do you think your listeners want to happen? And I'll tell you how to make it happen.
What do I think my listeners want? I think they want to look. We're kind of into happiness and like fulfillment around here, so I think that's what they're pursuing is like a better level of themselves.
All right, so watch, because I love that. Now watch. Happiness, if you want to get happy, you want to get rich. Now, again, you don't need to be rich to be happy. Don't get wrong what I'm saying. But when you have a lot of money and power behind you, I'm telling you, you're happier. Now, hear me, because again, I love when people want to debate this. And if you guys feel like debating it, by the way, that'd be fine. But money is just the tool. It's not what happiness is. Happiness is completely something else. But if you're trying to be happy in your life, dude, don't forget about money. Too many times people start worrying about, just worry about the happiness and the money will take care of itself. That is not true. Okay. You need to focus on both. There can be both. So ask me any question that if you were wondering how to be happier, whatever question you got, ask me and I'll bet you anything. This is what dropping bombs is, by the way. I'll tell you exactly how to achieve it.
I understand the freedom that money affords, but it doesn't mean that when you have it, you'll manage it well. So how do you prepare yourself to deal with the increase in responsibility of a bigger company, bigger money, bigger problems, all these things? I know plenty of people that have a lot of money still got big problems.
I know, but see what you're saying exactly what we're taught. And that's called rationalizing not having big money. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't have big money because you're saying what we're saying.
Okay. I mean, I don't know that I am. I'm just saying.
You think more money's more problems?
I know people that in every socioeconomic strata, right? And they all have something significant that they're dealing with because that's life.
Do you, Pete Turner, believe mo money, mo problems?
I think mo money, always problems.
You believe mo money, mo problems?
I don't necessarily mean mo. I just mean you always have issues. And also,
that's true. But do you believe mo money, mo problems? Yes or no?
No, I don't think mo problems, but I don't think you get to get rid of them. And you do get different problems that you may not be equipped to deal with. You know
so just don't make money in case you.
No, I'm not saying that. How do you? My question is how do you prepare for that? Like, you look at Major League Baseball and how they prepare their players that have big money, right? And then you look at the NFL. Those aren't equal outcomes. One side is preparing people for long-term wealth and comfort. The other side is getting dudes shot and not preventing them from blowing through their own stack before they're even done.
That's called financial education.
Right. So how does someone prepare themselves to get mo money and deal with, the temptations, all of those things that come with mo money?
When you say how, like I'll break that down. But at the end of the day, I think the question is actually bigger, which is, first of all, get mo money. Okay. Quit worrying about the problems I'm going to solve when I have mo money. How about let's get some fucking mo first. Okay. That's what people really need to focus on. Get mo. Then we'll worry about all the problems you may or may not have when you get it. Because at the end of the day, we're making hypothetical guesses that there's going to be I'm not going to be equipped to handle it. Who said? Like, give me some and let me see. But in some cases, you're 100% correct. But that's a financial education, Pete. That means,
but don't you have to ramp that capacity up as you're getting more money?
No.
Okay.
Dude, like for example, what I've learned about money in the last year has been more than my whole entire life.
Wow.
So if in the last year, in other words, I could teach somebody in 30 minutes, not every detail, but the basics to never, ever, ever just, not understand money. At the end of the day, like, for example, if I gave you $5 million, Gary, what would you do with it?
Take a portion to live off of for 12 months, and then I would invest the rest of it back in the business.
Doing what?
CRM consulting and software.
Well, again, not a very good move. Could be, though. I don't know your business.
Okay. What would you do with it?
I'd take $5 million and I'd buy cash flow assets.
Okay.
And then I'd have a 10% or better ROI. And on my $5 million, I would now be making $500,000 a month without getting out of bed. And that $500,000, not a month, I'm sorry, a year. 10% ROI average per year on the money invested. So I'd be getting $500,000 a month or a year income without getting out of bed. Now, most people, they wouldn't even do what you said, Gary. You know what they'd do? They'd go get a new house. They'd go get that damn new car. They'd go get a Ferrari because their fucking buddy on Instagram has one. And pretty soon that $5 million is gone. You got a lot of nice shit. And you didn't even realize nice shit costs money to continue to own. So guess what? Now you can't afford the property tax. Why? Because your $5 million's fucking gone, bro. You bought the house. You bought the cars. You bought the watches. You bought the trips. You fucking solved problems for your family. You're rich now. When in reality, you weren't fucking rich, dude. You got a fucking leg up. And nobody educated you that don't spend the $5 million. The $5 million is a seed to grow a money tree that will then give you $500,000 annually, which is now, you are fucking comfortable, my friend, because if you get $500,000 without getting out of bed, I don't give a fuck who you are. No one can argue this. You are comfortable, friend. I promise you $500,000 a year will make anyone comfortable.
Yeah, for sure.
And by the way, I would consider you rich. Why? Well, because you have no bills and $500,000 a month coming in. That's good. Now you don't have the $5 million. It's gone. Now, 2 or 3 years later, what happened? You got the $500,000 a year, which is now $1.5 million. The $5 million that you invested is more than likely worth now 7 or 8. Mm-hmm. So you actually made a couple of million in equity as well. If not, hold on to it. It'll do that within 10 years usually. So now all of a sudden you made another $5 million. Plus, you've been getting paid for 10 years if you save that money because you're smart and you did the same thing. The $5 million would make you another $5 million. And now that $5 million is making you $500,000. And now you got $1 million a year. And then if you save that for 5 years, you do another $5 million. Now you got $1.5 million a year. That's what people aren't teaching these athletes and these people that are winning lotteries. And then they're ending up broke dipshits. And I would have been a broke dick dipshit. Like, I kept waiting for the big chunk so I could go get all the big shit. And I would have ended up a broke joke. And everyone would have said, oh, look at him. He fucking failed. When in reality, no, I didn't fail. Nobody taught me what it is Pete and Gary are pointing out. Nobody taught me that. Well, guess what? In the last year, I basically learned that and a whole bunch more in the last year that I wouldn't even have known that a year and a half ago. And it would have cost me a lot of time and or money, which to me is both equally as valuable. So I don't know if that I mean, again, when you're asking the question, I'm imagining it's hypothetical, not exactly how you do it, because again, I think you do it a number of ways depending on what industry you're in, et cetera, et cetera. But that in a kind of as a higher level thing, you have to understand what I just said, and the rest is easy.
I love it, man. It's great advice. And let's just say that you're only 80% right and I'm only able to get to 80% of what you just said. Guess what? I got more money no matter what, So it's a great message.
It's because, listen, I'm all about happiness myself, but you know what I think happiness really, truly boils down to? An individual. Like, some people are happy underneath a fucking tree, smoking a joint and dreaming their life away. Now, do I think that's the most productive thing a human being should do? No. Am I mad that that's what the person considers happiness? No. That's their choice. That's their individual right to be happy. But I think happiness is a choice.
Well, that's for sure. I mean, it's a mindset, it's a choice, and you can choose. It's easy to choose anger and negativity, but if I always try to default to being gracious, to being kind, to being happy, and it ain't the easiest work in the world, but it does enrich my life because, by and large, most of my encounters are positive ones because I try to make those my default. I for sure messed that up, but if you lead with graciousness, being graceful around people and appreciating that, maybe they're having a bad day, and allowing them to have a bad day and be like, yeah, it's all right. It's just a bad day. You're going to get a lot further in your life and a lot happier day to day too. There's just hardly anything that's worth dropping gloves over anymore. We all have it so great.
Dude, and I agree with that 1,000%. See, and again, is that rocket science, Pete? No, you just learn that over the years.
Yeah.
And you know what? You're correct. Like, dude, I would agree with you 1,000%. Then why is it people commit suicide? Why are people out there slaving and making $65,000 a year trying to figure out, well, why the fuck can't I go on these big fancy trips and buy these big fancy houses? Why can't I? And literally their whole life is 60, 70, 80 grand a year. They're never going to make more than that. Well, what explains those people?
I don't know. I mean, the suicide, my transition from the military damn near killed me. I was, and I still to this day have suicidal ideation. Doesn't mean I'm going to act on it. Everybody in the audience, I'm fine. I have the urge all the time. Mine comes from a lot of damage from combat, but I know that a lot of my peers that don't have value when they come back, that kills them, drip by drip every day. And either directly or indirectly, they make bad choices. And you get to a point where there is no future and you suck in and that's it. So it is in my world, this is a significant problem. I'm tired of getting the phone calls of so-and-so did it. And I would like to spend my time, and I think other people would benefit from this in trying to help folks out in that world as they spiral down. And it's not up to them to reach out because they lose that ability. It's up to the folks around them who love them to make sure they're checking in on them and doing what they can to help them.
Dude, if you're spiraling down, most times you won't even recognize it.
Yeah, you get past the point of helping yourself. You were sinking. It's like you're in a frozen lake. You've fallen through. You fought as long as you can, and your body freezes up. And the only thing that can save you ultimately is an extraordinary external force.
I agree and then disagree.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, it's human, so it's multivariate, and you can't just pick one answer, Yeah,
but no, I mean, I agree mostly, but deep down, it's not true because deep down, we could all fix ourselves instantly, but it's not likely. The external force needs to wake the individual up enough to get us to realize ourselves we can change this shit. Because when it boils down to it, folks, it's all based on the individual and the individual choice. There is no person on earth that can turn you into someone better. There's no external force that can actually save you. All they can do is be a catalyst of you saving yourself.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you have to do the hard work, but you also have to be reachable too. Some people they truly give up.
Yeah, like again, I mean, I wish someone would reach out in kind of a state where, like, you never know because, like, I don't want a bunch of unstable people calling me, but at the end of the day, I want to help those type of people because all they have to realize in their head is, fuck, dude, there's 7 billion people. Only one is you. There's only one Gary Dobbs. There's only one Pete Turner. There's only one Brad Lea. Now, I know it's easy to look at me and think, fuck, yeah, but you got all the cards, Brad. That's supposed to be funny. Yeah. But realistically, there's only one us. And when we start getting depressed, it's because we don't know that. We don't realize. We don't value ourselves. We don't realize. We just sit there and keep playing in our heads the bullshit that caused us to get in that situation. Because, dude, think about it, man. As human beings, we're magnificent, wouldn't you say?
I would.
Dude, you cut your arm and watch and time lapse, your fucking body heals itself. Is that nuts, dude?
That's crazy.
Nuts, man.
Dude, listen, we invented an airplane that flies through the sky at 700 miles an hour comfortably. Dude, think about a cowboy riding a fucking horse. Did they get ripped off or what?
Yeah.
Like, dude, they had to fucking build a campfire and cook out of a fucking pot and fucking eat shit and fucking dirt and fucking, if it was hot out, well, then you were fucking hot. Okay. No air conditioning, no fucking airplanes, no nothing.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, human beings, dude, are incredible. We created airplanes.
Yeah. That's pretty incredible. It took us a couple thousand years to do it. What's going to happen in 2,000 years? Like what could we invent then that's not even conceivable today or even 10 years from now? You're right, man. Humans are pretty incredible.
Dude, we're pretty incredible. We just don't know it. We need to wake up and realize that we are incredible individuals, every one of us, and get rid of what we've been taught and what we feel. Because, dude, a lot of those people killing themselves, it's because they feel worthless. Like you said, they feel like there is no hope. When in reality, dude, of course there's fucking hope, dude.
Yeah,
kidding me?
Opportunity.
Not only that, dude, but usually before someone commits suicide, they have shown signs. They have made comments. People just aren't noticing the comments and they're not noticing the signs. Yeah. So again, why do I want to get the knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it? Because maybe there is a person that had to deal with suicide that could teach people how to recognize the signs and the comments and the indications that somebody is thinking that way. What if you had a 16-year-old kid? Don't you want to know that information?
Oh, yeah.
What if you had a 9-year-old little girl that was getting bullied online and you didn't even know to look for it? Next thing you know, you came home and she committed suicide from online cyberbullying. Don't you wish someone would have fucking said, hey, here's the signs to look for. Here's the things to notice. Because, dude, your daughter, my daughter, anyone's daughter, we're all susceptible. You got a returning vet or a returning military person transitioning to civilian life. Here's what you need to do as a family member, whether it's first responders or military, dude. There's things that you got to deal with. Like first responders, dude, being a cop, they deal with shit that non-cops don't have to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, we just had a really heavy show about that with the guy that screwed his whole life up and was ready to go and managed to arrest all that stuff. But, in the process, he screwed his whole life up, he screwed his family life up, and it's been a real struggle. And now he tries to help these other guys out because we ask a lot of those first responders and expect them to just withstand something that's not withstandable for 20 years.
Well, not only that, but we forget about their family members who are dealing with them too. And it sometimes, in other words, if I went and helped the wife of a first responder or the husband of a first responder, technically you're helping the first responder.
Yeah, for sure. Well, a lot of times these things turn into addiction as they try to deal with the problem. And that addiction is manifested in the family as, that's the tumor, that's the cancer, And so it's the one disease where everybody around that person who loves them gets the byproduct of the shitty part of the disease. And, it wrecks families and everything else. And so you're right. That mom, that daughter, that, thank me for my service. Fuck, thank my daughter. Because she didn't have a dad around for years and years while I was gone to Iraq and Afghanistan. She paid an enormous cost. If
I had a bomb, I'd drop it right now.
Come on.
Hey, don't thank me. Thank my daughter. Thank my kids. Thank my wife. You know what? That'd be a good campaign, Pete. You just invented a great vet campaign. Don't thank me. Thank my family.
Yeah.
Because, dude, there's a lot of those families that meant a lot and supported a lot. And again, that is who we should be thanking also. Not just the servicemen. But, hey, I can tell you this. We could sit here for hours talking about all kinds of crazy shit, philanthropic or business. But Here's what it boils down to if people understand one thing. It boils down to choices. Everything we do is based on choices. You have the same ability to make a choice as everybody else. That's the beautiful thing is as individuals, we have free will and we can choose whatever we think, whatever we say, whatever we do, whatever, all that. Like how I react to something is 100% my choice. You cannot make me get mad at you. You cannot make me respond any particular way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we realize that as a human being, like, okay, so I am in ultimate control. If you just break it down to the basics, do you or do you not agree that we are in control of our own decisions? Yes or no?
Oh, yeah. Sure. I mean, you are in control of your own decisions.
Okay. So again, let's check that box. We are in control of our decisions. And if that's the truth, well then we get to choose whatever we choose. Okay, so if I say, hey, Pete, how you doing today? And you're like, it's a fucked up day. Did you not choose to have a fucked up day?
That's right.
Okay, that is correct. And that's what people need to wake up. Like, I want to enlighten people. Like, dude, if you're having a fucked up day, you chose to have a fucked up day. Well, no, I didn't. Pete came in my goddamn office, took a shit on my desk, kicked me upside the head and walked out. Right. Pete made me have a fucked up day. No, that is not true. That is not true.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
It's not true, though. Seriously, it's not true. I could have fucking found all kinds of great things about getting kicked in the head and a shit on my desk. You heard the story about the two kids, okay?
Ooh.
Two little kids got put in two separate rooms. One was a rich kid, one was a poor kid. Mm-hmm. They put these two kids in a room. Both rooms were filled with horse shit. There was nothing in there but horse shit. Two kids stuck in a room, locked in the room with piles of horse shit. 3 hours later, they're monitoring these kids. They see the little poor kid happy as hell playing in the shit. And they see the little rich kid madder than hell in the corner crying and throwing a tantrum. They're like, what the fuck? Look at these two different reactions. So they walked in. They took the little poor kid and they said, hey, how you doing, buddy? He said, pretty good. Someone said, come, look at the rich kid. Go over there, throwing a tantrum, freaking the hell out, about ready to like make a big problem. They say, hey, what's the problem, kid? Rich kid says, what are you talking about? You just locked me in a room full of shit for 6 hours. The fuck you mean, what's my problem?
Yeah.
Like, it fucking stinks in here. What the fuck is going on? They go back to the poor kid. Poor kid's still in there, happy. You could leave him in there for another 2 days. He didn't give a fuck. Says, hey, little kid, what are you so happy about? The little poor kid says, with all this shit, there has to be a pony up under here somewhere.
Find me a pony.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, that's just a simple choice and a mindset. That's why when I start working with people or companies, the first thing I do is figure out where your mind is. Because again, cynical people, limited people, scarcity people, you can't win with those mindsets. I call them yabbits. You ever heard of yabbits?
Yep.
Everything's a yabbit. Pete, you just won $1 million. Yeah, but I got to pay taxes. Oh, you bummed, are you? You know, hey, you just won $1 million. Yeah, but that ain't gonna even fucking pay for Christmas. Like, oh, not enough. Like, dude, everything's a fucking problem.
Yeah. You
got to change those mindsets. Everything's not a problem. You guys, let me give you one last thing because I know we've been on here longer than you expected, but that's okay on my book. But
hey, man, we're glad to have you here.
Well, here's one thing that people don't understand. I call it the $1 million morning. Why? Because if you wake up every morning and act as if you received $1 million, literally act the same way, you'd be 1 million times better off in life. I call it $1 million morning. Here's why. If I gave you $1 million, Gary, you'd probably be happy for the rest of the day, at least, maybe the week.
Yeah.
Right.
Barring
anything crazy happening, you'd be, fuck, nothing can really upset you, dude. Brad Lea just gave you a free $1 million. You're fucking like, damn, this is cool. Hey, honey, let's go on a trip or whatever you do. You're happy. You're pumped. Someone could tell you a little bit of stupidity. You'd be like, I don't give a fuck, dude. I just got $1 million. Like, you're pumped.
Right.
But if I told you I'll give you $1 million, but you're not going to wake up tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., you'd say, well, I don't want the $1 million. So you're telling me that waking up tomorrow is worth more than $1 million? You'd be like, well, fuck yeah. How about 10 million?
Yep.
How about 50 million? How about 100 million? How about $300 million, Pete? I'll give you 300 million cash, but you won't wake up tomorrow. Guess what? No, it's not even worth 300 million. You mean waking up tomorrow is worth more than 300 million to you? Are you fucking stupid? It's $300 million. So nobody's that dumb, right? We're all like, well, fuck no. No amount of money is worth not waking up tomorrow. Precisely, kids. No amount of money is worth not waking up tomorrow. So when you wake the fuck up, you just got the most unbelievable gift. And you get it every fucking day. You get to wake up. You better be that grateful, like you just got $1 million, like you just got 300 million worth, because you'd pass on 300 million if you had a choice. So wake up and instantly be that grateful, and your mind, your mindset, your position, your perception, the whole viewpoint, the advantage of where you sit is fucking through the roof. You wake up, first thing I do every morning when I wake up and I go, boom. I'm instantly fucking grateful. Like I'm shitting, like I just got $1 million. I just wake up. I go, first thing I do is I think, thank God, because guess what? I woke up, bro. So now everything's easy. The dog shit on the floor. Fuck yeah, dude. There's shit on the floor. Woo!
Right.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Dude, if you can accomplish that, and it's totally common sense to do so. If you can accomplish that, dude, your whole fucking life turns around. You know why? Because it's a choice. It boils down to a choice. Happiness is a choice. Your life is a choice. And if you fucking start getting your choices correct, your whole life will. I always tell people the choices you make determine the road you'll take. Okay. If you're pissed off, dude, I'm telling you, you're choosing to be pissed off. You know, you tolerate and then you complain. It makes no sense. Like, we get what we tolerate. If you don't tolerate it, you won't have it. That's a fact. I had somebody say one time, well, I don't tolerate my car. I said, what kind of car do you have? They said, a little shit box. I'm like, well, if you wouldn't tolerate it, you wouldn't drive it. He said, if I didn't drive it, I wouldn't have a car. And I go, right. And he goes, well, then why would I fucking have no car? And I'm like, that's why you have that car. It's because you tolerate that car.
Yeah.
If you said, I am not tolerating this shit box, you wouldn't have the shit box. The next time you had a car, it would be a fucking nice one. Or you wouldn't have one of the two, but you wouldn't have a shitty one because you won't tolerate a shitty one. So if you really think about it, you go, hey, do I have a good relationship? Not really. I'm upset about my relationship. You're tolerating it. Well, how about your job? Yeah, I'm not really happy with my job. You're fucking tolerating it. How much money you got? I don't have enough money. You're fucking tolerating having that much money. Everything you get is because you're tolerating what you get. Now, again, people try to say that sounds too easy. So they get off the podcast or they hang up and they think, woo, that was just a bunch of No. This is the real shit, man. Get up in the morning grateful. Start loving yourself. Start valuing yourself. Start realizing that everything you do is your choice. Start realizing that you can have any fucking thing you want. And that's the truth. How do you get it? That's not the fucking hard part, folks. How do you get it? It depends. What are you trying to get? I don't know. I can't, this is how you get everything. No, dude, you have to start by waking up and becoming aware and becoming enlightened that it's all possible. It's all up to you. And it's 100% starts with your mindset. Then your mindset allows you to start making more money. With the money, you start getting more health. With health, you start getting more relationships. Does that sound right? Because it does. Trust me. If you're broke, fat, you ain't going to have very many relationships with the honeys. Let's just call it the honey. So if you came to me fat and broke, I'd bet your relationships are struggling. So guess what I'd say? Instead of worrying, if really what you want is you want to find the love of your life. Well, here's what I'd say. If you really want to find the love of your life, let's go get your mind right, which will teach you how to love yourself and think that you're worth something and teach you how to be grateful. Then that'll get you making more money because it will. The money, you'll afford the Botox or the silicone or the fucking eyelashes or whatever the fuck makes you prettier and better. And then the fucking relationships come running, dude. Have you ever had a bunch of money? I have. Everyone likes me more with money.
Yeah,
that's true.
I know, dude. Sometimes I'm sitting there and I look around, I'm thinking, fuck, are all these motherfuckers inviting me because they know I'm rich?
That's awesome.
And by the way, a lot of them, yep.
Yeah.
Like if I was broke, wouldn't be at that fucking party. They don't give a fuck. I ain't got no money. I can't help them. Fuck off. But guess what? I don't really care because I'd rather be around people that like me for my money than around friends broke.
Yeah.
That's a good one, man.
Hey, man. Well, listen, we've been at this for 90 minutes of awesomeness, and I've really, really, really enjoyed it and hope that I can convince you to come back on with Gary and I again, because there's whole new topics and a whole bunch of other questions that I'd love to get into with you. But for this time, for sure, man, awesome podcast. Thank you so much.
Hey, we covered a lot of topics. It probably makes no sense to the average listener. So listen, here's what I recommend. If you guys really want to do something, listen to this podcast repeatedly, download it over and over again, go through it with repetition, write down any questions that you don't understand, write down anything you don't believe, and then go try to disprove everything you don't believe and try to call in, make comments, seek one of us out and ask more questions until you understand it all. And boom, this one podcast episode is worth at least $1 million to every single one of you. That's the Break It Down show for you.